Okay, guys, welcome back to the Maple Realty Show. I'm here with Roman and Lance, and Roman, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Teja. So I wanted to discuss real estate around the world today. I was inspired by this theme because a few days ago I posted a video on my YouTube channel. Should you sell your home before buying the next one? So if anyone wants to watch that, go back in the shorts and watch that. But I got a pretty good comment on the video, and the lady put, in the UK, we get in a chain, a bit of a pain, but it works if all the chain goes well. Hence, you're not made to be homeless if the chain fails. So, at first, when I read this comment, I had no clue what she was talking about because unfortunately, I've never traveled to the UK and I'm not familiar with their real estate systems. So, it got me intrigued what she was meaning by property chain. So, I searched it up, and basically, for whoever doesn't know what it means, in the UK, many home transactions are linked together in a chain. For example, person A sells their home to person B. Person A is also buying a home from person C, and person C might also be buying from person D. So basically, the whole process becomes a chain of transactions where everyone's sale depends on someone else's purchase. So then I kept reading into it, and the lady that commented, she said it's a bit of a pain, and I searched up why that would be, and they said if one deal in the chain fails, then the entire chain can collapse. So, for example, if person D backs out, then person C can't buy, then person A can't buy, then person B can't buy. So it can delay
Wow.
or ruin multiple deals. And then what she meant by you're not made to be homeless if the chain fails. So she's saying that because everyone's sale and purchase usually completes on the same day. So people don't end up selling their home without having somewhere to move into. So basically, what the comment was saying is in the UK, we often buy and sell on a chain. It can be annoying, but it usually prevents someone from selling their home and ending up without another place to move into. So when I got that comment, after reading it and learning about a cool system that they do in the UK, it immediately got me inspired to think of a topic for this episode of our podcast and say, okay, well, that's just one place around the world. How about everywhere else around the world? I mean, we all come from different backgrounds and we're all born in a different place. So I guess my first question is regarding her comment about the UK's property chain. Do you think it's a good idea? And do you think it would be cool for Canada to implement a system like that? Or do you like the Canadian system better?
I don't like the chain because the chain could essentially screw so many people over if it fails.
That's true. That's true. And plus, people here are used to that already. I mean, what we have, right? I guess people like it the way we do it here. And even myself, I know I like the way how we do it here. I think there's more freedom in how transactions.
I agree. I was going to say the same thing about the freedom and flexibility because we could structure our offers basically any way we want to by putting certain conditions or not putting conditions. It's
Yeah.
looking interesting.
I mean, I heard in the US they also have they have it says some brokerage are only for buying and some are just for selling. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard of that, but I'm like
No,
that's yeah, it's like their expertise is only on the buying side and the other brokerage they only do selling side. So, hearing that, I'm like, oh, we do everything here in Canada. I'm like
To be
that.
honest, I think that makes sense though. To be expertise on buying or to be expertise on selling, I think if you divide your time both, you're not going to be the best as if you were to just do one.
Yeah, because my dad, my parents, they're also from the. I mean, also they took some real estate course. And they told me how they do it there. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I mean, like you said, it's like being a master of something. As we're more jack of all trades, we do almost everything, right? So,
That
Yeah.
actually brings me to another question I had, Lance, because we're all from 3 different backgrounds. Like, I was born and raised here. You guys were born in different places, but have different experiences with different places or travels and stuff. So, what's something in the Philippines, for example, that you know of that they do different than Canada, like in terms of a system? Is there anything that stands
oh
out
yeah,
to you that you think is cool?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, actually, yeah, I only learned this when I became a realtor here, or I was planning on becoming a realtor because I partnered with some of the big real estate developers there. They own most of our lands for centuries there, and they actually have some in Vancouver here. I don't know if you heard of Ayala. They're like descendants of Spanish fan. But anyway, um, so
For are
they were
they
selling.
like a Mattamy Homes for the Philippines, or they actually
Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of like Matamy, but they own malls. They own so much stuff, man. I mean, they own like they're one of the higher ups there. So but one of
so they
their
build and buy?
well, yeah, well, they buy. They own a lot of lands, and they keep on buying lands. Even they even bought some now here in Vancouver. That's how big they are.
Wow.
So when they develop
Yeah.
buildings, they develop buildings there. If you look into them, Ayala, Alveo, they're big. Um, anyway, where I'm getting into this is I partnered with another one. It's called Canyon Creek, and they own Canyon Resorts.
Okay.
We used to go to this nice resort back then when I was a kid. I remember them, and then when they approached me, I'm like, oh, I know you guys, you know. And then they were selling their properties differently, bro. I mean, they give you condominium, but it's a condo hotel. Because some of the worries of people who buy foreign properties is who's gonna manage it. You know, you don't know anyone there. And then some people, you know, yeah, they will manage it, but it's not enough. Or who knows, maybe they're taking some money from you, you know, they whatever, they put some price on top of whatever they told you and they're pocketing it. You know, it happens there sometimes when, you know, especially if you guys are very informal in how you guys did the list. But anyway, this this structure I was saying is they give peace of mind to people who are buying because first of all you have ownership. You're not just buying a share from a hotel. They structure it, you know, because it's run by a hotel. Whatever the hotel makes, they give you a portion of how big your room is that you're
Like a portion
Oh,
of the
basically
profit?
short-term rental management company.
exactly because it's a at your own. It's an ownership for you, condominium ownership. At the same time, it's like a timeshare. So they combined all three in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're very open-minded with how they do real estate there. They can combine things there. I don't think they can do. I guess we have
Actually,
stricter.
there is one building in Toronto that is a hotel and allows short-term rentals. Or it what they did allow this a while ago. I don't know if they still do.
Oh, I think I went there before. Yeah.
Downtown, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's like like it's like there's a club in the main
Yeah, there's
floor.
like a bar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I went there and I'm like, am I in the right place? I was
Yeah,
looking.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it does exist. It's rare
Is
though.
that
Like
at
we've
King
seen
Street?
many places. No, Victoria. I don't know Victoria and where though.
I forgot. It was a long time ago. I think it was during pandemic when I showed a unit there for and at first I'm like I'm not sure if I'm in the right place and it's hard to hear the client from from the inside. So I'm like, I have to go outside, call them again.
Well, it's
So we saw
also
each other.
hard navigating because it's not like a normal condo. You're like, it's like exactly like what you said. It's like, am I in a bar? Am I in the right building? Like,
Yeah.
I did a showing for the One King condo building, and it was a hotel, but it allowed rentals. So I don't know how that works.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they do it here, but it's just they combine three aspects there, right? It's like it's a
Yeah.
condo, hotel, timeshare. And you have
To be honest,
1 month of per year to use it for yourself. You can, rent that out to someone and make money out of it, or you can use it for yourself. Because a lot of foreign investors anyway, they don't use it the whole year, or they only come once in a while there, right? Because they also have work here, or they really live here, or anywhere in the world.
So in the Philippines for renting a property, is it similar to here? Like someone could get an agent to help them find a rental? Like I help a lot of tenants find rentals.
Yeah, you can, but most people there, they don't really hire an agent. I mean, we have rental properties there. We never hired an agent.
So how do
That's
they find the properties? Just online?
online, and then even just the superintendent. Sometimes we just post them on the lobby. We get a lot, man. We just post there, and we get some because people who are living in the building will tell their friends who wants to live with them to call us. The moment we post it, within a few days, we get a lot of calls. So we don't no need for agents for us to get. I mean, most agents, they're only needed for buying and selling. Yeah.
And then in terms of buying and selling, is it a similar sales process or it's completely different?
I mean, it's similar, but like I said, we're not so strict with the rules. Like you can do a lot of. They have different ways of doing their businesses there. Whatever. Sometimes they formulate something just to make it more efficient for them and also appealing to customers. Sometimes they give you no interest mortgage, man. So they make it a bundle if you work with they're also already working with the developers and say no interest for this. But after certain, that's when you start paying for interest. I don't know. I don't think we can.
I've never heard of that.
well, you can do take back mortgage, which is
Yeah,
the vendor.
that, like
Yeah. So
private,
that's
it
what
would have to be a private lending type of deal.
Exactly.
I
I'm just
guess.
saying.
But
So
this
how
coming from the developers themselves, or I mean, I guess it's from the developers because when they were giving me how to sell their units, they were they offering the mortgage, and they are saying that no one can beat that, Lance. I'm telling you, because the way we structure this is through. They're really aggressive, man. Trust me. That's why people fall for it. People because they make sure that it's not a loss because when they buy, we make money. What is an interest? If you get, if you sell this, you're locked in and they're happy. We're happy. They're happy. That's how they do it there.
how about in India? Seeing any cool systems unique to the way they
Not that like I've spent most of my time in growing up in Canada and Europe, so I don't fully know. I can tell you like some of the issues that happen there. For example, if you have a property on the border with someone else and you don't live there, people don't regularly go and check it, then the neighbor could possibly build on top of yours
Uh,
or expand into yours, and then you have like no legal right to get it back
so
if
there's
they do
no
that. So
that
you have to
property.
prevent it in the first place.
that's crazy. I mean, we have those problems back home, but we can actually kind of remove your structure once we do a survey. But it's slow. I mean, it takes time. But that, yeah, you guys have the process of removing it.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it's a common thing that people do to try and, I guess, get land because land are rare and expensive.
So you have like let's say like a 50 by 100-foot lot, and then the person beside you could just start building into your backyard.
Yeah, let's just say you went somewhere, you went on vacation for a month. They could, uh, yeah, they might do that.
Wow.
They're like waiting for Tasia to live. Let's build, let's
So
build the backyard on this bike.
Speaking
yeah,
of
so like this,
speaking of that, actually, on a recent Joe Rogan podcast, he was talking about someone in the UK or something. The guy had a secondary investment home and it was like vacant. And then someone moved in and like started living in there. And then they ended up taking possession of the house and sold it for like $500,000 or something. And they got the money.
Oh,
So they squatted on the person's property and then sold the person's property and got the money, and the guy couldn't fight it.
but
Yeah,
that's
this
the
is basically what I was saying.
yeah. Good.
Squatting. It's basically squatters' rights.
It is squatters. But I mean, squatters right takes years supposed to be. I think we have that rule here too. We have it back home. I think 20 years at least. No, that you guys
Here?
kind of abandoned it, and
No, I
then
think it's
people are
like
living in.
5 years.
Huh? How many?
I think it's like 5 years.
What
No,
the? Let me search
We'll
it
check
up
it
while
for
you
next
guys
spot.
talk.
I guess we can check it now.
because I think even back home we have that rule. But I think I spoke to my dad. He's a lawyer back home, and he said because I we have that kind of problems right now with other relatives that, like you said, they
Yeah, and like it's always
they
like,
build
and it could be
structures.
relative.
Yeah, they built structures in our land, and and now they're claiming it's theirs. So we're like,
Okay, so
and
so
then
it says
we look
on
at,
Google,
yeah, okay, yeah,
it says squatters' rights or adverse possession rarely allow squatters to gain legal ownership of land in Canada today. Most provinces have converted to land title systems which protect registered owners and make it nearly
eh,
impossible to claim property simply by occupying it, often requiring 10 to 20 years of exclusive,
yeah,
uninterrupted, and hostile possession. That's
Oh, okay.
crazy.
But that's like that explains one of the reasons why people in Asia or the Middle East
That's
or
crazy.
Africa buy here, right? Because we have a
yeah.
good system like
We
this.
have a good protection. 'Cause that's why I was wondering why UK were able, someone in the UK were able to. They're a first world country, and they're similar to our system, British, British system, and I don't know. I mean, ours, I understand back home we're a third world country. I mean, but now it's getting better. At the same time, you can dispute these things now in court because my dad said back then there was a lot of issues with that because we're not very computerized. But now we're getting there. At the same time, if I think the rule now, my dad said, if the squatter doesn't pay property tax for that property, then you still can get your property back because they're really squatters because
But how do they pay property tax if they don't have
ex
like the bill is getting sent to them?
I don't know, but some people were able to do that, I guess, because why would they make that rule back home? Maybe they were able to find a way. I don't know, because sometimes back home they
That's
can
crazy.
bribe people. They can bribe people
Yeah,
inside, bro. No, trust me. There's ways. There's a lot of loopholes.
do
There's
that. They can do that in many.
corruption. No, that's the thing. They're not so strict there. They can find ways, man. Especially if you know someone. And we're trying to fix it, but it's hard, man. We have so much people there, and there's so many things going on. And sometimes even people in the government are corrupt, and with them. So they have protection. That's a good thing here, and that's where we appreciate Canada more because we're really by the book. We're really following
There's
the rules.
corruption
We have
everywhere, fortunately.
I mean, there is, but not as bad. If you think our corruption here, trust me, it's nothing. Very soft compared to our corruption back home. But they're gonna be like, "What? That's you're gonna think that what the heck? That's not corrupt.
That's one way to put it.
Bending the rules for a bit, But it's like that's just bending the corruption."
It's
Yeah,
bad no matter what the scale. But what were you saying about Ireland, Tasia? Like any cool systems?
Nothing. Nothing specifically. I mean, it's very similar to here. The one big difference in Ireland and here is when you rent a place in Ireland, the landlord tends to furnish it.
So did
So,
you have to rent a place when you were there, or you stayed at a hotel?
no, to rent a place, man, that's crazy. I was there for years. Can
they
you imagine, Bill?
they above. Staying in
So
a
did you rent
penthouse.
one place for 7 years?
No, first year I stayed on campus at my college, and then this next 2 years I stayed literally like 300 meters away from that building.
Wow.
And then for the next 2 or 3 years, I stayed 500 meters away from that building. So I didn't move far.
Okay. So, and what was the process
But
like? Did you have to show the same types of documents like photo ID, employment letter, or school letter? Like here,
yeah,
there's quite
yeah,
a
it's the
few
same
details.
process. It's the same process. And I was lucky too because, like, the very last place I lived in, it was a complex that only had 4 apartments, one on each floor. And it was essentially the builders of that, like, huge building. They built this for themselves, but then they never lived there, so they rented it to students. And most students were medical students. Like, that whole building was all medical students. So when I applied, because I was in medical school, they just didn't do too much. Like, I didn't ask for a credit score or anything like that.
Wow. So did you use a realtor to find the place for any of the places?
No, it was a referral. Like, someone else in school was moving out. She was moving back to Toronto, and she referred me to the owner, or the realtor, the property manager, and then the property manager, which I think is a realtor, she did the rest of it.
Mm.
Okay. Wow.
Because that one was
And
a really nice place, to be honest. Like, it was super nice, and it was a really good price. So I
were
think it
the
would have been
rental
difficult.
prices comparable to here, like at that point in time?
Probably, yes. Dublin's very expensive. So Dublin is also known as, like, the high-tech hub of the EU, and that's basically where all the companies, even around the world, they go and set up their headquarters in Ireland. I think mainly for, like, A, it's a really nice place, but also because the taxes are super low.
That makes sense. I'm curious about different countries, how they operate in real estate. It'd be cool to learn more about different countries. Is there a specific country that you'd be intrigued in learning more about on how they handle their real estate systems?
North Korea.
North Korea, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's gonna be a
We
very
went
interesting one.
straight for the kill there.
I'm interested with Japan and Singapore. I mean, Singapore is very expensive, and they're very strict with selling because it's very small, right? It's like as big as Toronto. You see the whole place within a day, actually. But and then I
I
mean,
was going to Japan.
well, Japan is good. I mean, I was looking into their I think it's Atami. It's like the abandoned houses. You can buy it for really cheap, man. Sometimes for free, and they just
I
have to.
saw a post online. It was like it almost looked like a castle, like a Japanese castle for like $25,000 Canadian. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah, because they're abandoned. Not a lot of people are you know buying houses. They're moving into like Tokyo, like the getting condo units or apartments there, and they're not living this like kind of suburban or rural, and their parents they maybe they pass away or they move to somewhere else, and they're just there, man. And they're also their population is not growing. That's why they have this. They said that they have short.
I was about to.
Yeah, and that's why they're kind of desperate. I mean, Japan is really nice, man. It's a very nice place. I mean, if I'm gonna live somewhere else in the world, that's one of my that's in my list, man. Japan, Singapore, but Singapore is very
Singapore.
expensive. I mean, Japan is expensive if you go to Tokyo or you know Osaka, but Singapore is very expensive. I mean, it's nice, but very expensive. Those places, those that's why I'm interested those places. I mean, Singapore in a condo unit, I think it's costing like a house here, bro. And it's just a condo unit, man. because they don't like selling houses. They like selling apartments. They want to go up, not going wide, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's the only way they can go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Similar.
also the other thing with Singapore is like when you buy it, it's like 100-year lease, so you can't like I don't think
It's
you
no,
can
so it's
pass
not
it back.
really. Oh, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
not really an owner. It's one of those because yeah, the condominium.
Uh,
Yeah, speaking of that, we have that back home too because that's why my parents were so against buying condos here back then because they thought it's the same back home where it's just a lease. You don't really own the land we call it leasehold.
yeah.
After a certain years, 50 to 100 years, I think that's how we do it back home. After that, we don't know what's gonna happen to the condominium. It can be torn down, and I don't know. And then maybe the condominium, if they have money, they will compensate you. But if they don't have money, all they have to do is file bankruptcy, and you don't got anything. How are you gonna get anything, man? You know. So that's the bad thing. Yeah, I think we don't have that here. I'm not sure. Do we have anything like that? Like condominiums that's considered leasehold, like
Mm,
the land itself, it's not owned by the
well, technically,
we,
Mississauga is owned by the Massasauga tribe or something.
So we have something like that too, like
No,
we
no,
have
no.
leased land properties, like the 99-year lease. We have
yeah,
properties like that here. I
but they
don't
don't
know
apply that to condominium buildings, no?
yes, yeah.
No.
Why
Yeah,
not?
I've never
I've
seen
never heard
any
of it,
con.
but I don't.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not.
we have those back home. That's why if that's something that you have to look into because some people they just buy and because they like the location, they get enticed with the offer of no interest for this years and it's only the cost. They just ignored when they told them that it's a leasehold by the way, or maybe the agent kind of withheld that, and you cannot go after this guy after 50 or 100 years. I mean, the agent already is maybe gone, and then you will just find out that, oh, I didn't know that this condominium is actually a leasehold.
Do they
So
have in the Philippines expropriation, like where the government could just take your property, like if they're doing some build, specific build
Not
for,
that
let's say,
everywhere.
transit, and then they could just buy you out, like forcefully buy you out?
They forcefully move you out.
yeah, yeah. Well, I heard that they do. I don't know now, but back then, yeah, I think my dad was telling me about taking. But I mean, it's a good thing in a way. So based on what one that my dad was saying, the government is actually generous when they buy your property there. So sometimes they groom their property or they buy a property where they know that the government will buy it, so that when
Mhm.
the time comes, you can sell it to them for a very, you know, especially maybe it's like something that a road will pass through. Some
They
people
give
actually.
Yeah.
more than like fair market value.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Some even just rent it out. I mean, politicians there, what they do is like they buy massive land, and they know, and they will since they're in the government, they propose that, hey, why don't they already know they pre-planned everything, man.
That
They're like,
sounds
Yeah.
like insider
this is
trading right there.
this is this is a shortcut for us to get to this, like say the downtown here, right? Or we call it Makati. So there's because there's so many ways to go there, but it's not developed yet, and also because we have a road traffic there, so they're like, it's gonna reduce the traffic, and we can charge them toll gate, so they're making money from the toll gate every day, and they're also making money because the government is paying them for having that highway there, man. So
Wow.
imagine how much money these guys are making.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
what
another
can?
country that I would be curious about their system is Switzerland.
Well,
You ever
yeah,
you ever see those photos of like the countryside of Switzerland with like the mountains and the waterfall and like the ravine and the green grass? It looks like heaven on earth. It's like
I know, I know. I mean, those are a good place. The Nordic countries, like you know, Switzerland, Iceland. Iceland is
But
It's
I
like
heard Switzerland's expensive.
It's super expensive from what I hear.
yeah, I heard too. Yeah, I mean, they said
But
it's
they're all
worth it.
expensive. I'm interested in Norway.
Is it is it more expensive than Canada, Switzerland, or no? I mean, we're expensive.
I thought it was.
I'd say it's probably the same.
Yeah, I think it's. I think the only thing is like we have more opportunities here. We're very multicultural. That I think that's the beauty of Canada, especially Toronto and Vancouver, where it's very, you know, I think you
I
cannot buy your food back like what we have back home in there. Because back then when we moved here, we don't really have everything that we buy back home. We try to buy it with some, we make our food in a different way. But now we have it. We even thought of bringing like crops and all this stuff products from back home and sell it here back then. But now it's here. I don't think they have that. So,
hopefully hopefully someone from Switzerland's watching and they could shoot us a comment and let us know.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't know. Actually, I know about Norway because we had a family friend that visited us here, and they said that they don't have any Asian products in Norway, and then some of the food that they buy, they cross the border. I don't know which country they.
I think it
What?
cut out.
Yeah, it did cut out.
Yeah, that's okay. I was going to say, hopefully we get people from all across the world watching this and maybe they could put in a comment and share something unique to their country. It would be nice to hear from other people, just like the lady from the UK that commented on the last video. You cut
Yeah,
off
that was
on
good.
us there, Lance. So I was just
Huh?
rambling off.
Yeah,
You cut off
yeah,
on
I
us.
cut off. I got off. It's okay. I mean, I think my phone's overheating because it's connected to the screen. By the way, yeah, I was just saying that they don't have certain crops there too in Norway. They said that they have to buy it somewhere. I don't know what's the country below Norway, but one of those countries. And they said it's also cheaper there. They're saying in Norway it's more expensive. So
Yeah,
gas is expensive there too, even though
yeah.
they have a lot of oil. They said or gas
It's because
like
they're
us.
super green. They're very electric. That country has a very high density of electric cars. The
Uh,
Scandinavian, they were some of the
I see.
first to do that.
I know. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's just sad, They have that resources, and that's why what made them rich, a rich country out of nowhere, and then they don't provide it to their own people. They sell it to someone else, like what we are doing here in Canada, and we're not benefiting from that though.
No.
Yeah,
Capitalize on our resources.
yeah. I mean, why not, right? Right now, especially the price right now. I mean, it's high, bro. I don't know what is it, 160 something, 170 now?
Yeah.
17.
I don't no, is it? Yeah, the gas. Because I saw
I
it
don't know
yesterday. It
one.
was like 160 something, and I'm like, oh man,
Last I checked, it was 150, but you never know. Every day it's so different.
I don't know. Well, can we do? I know it's so temporary. I hope for the best that it all ends and we get our norm.
All right, guys. I think that's pretty good for today. We hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we'll see you on the next one.
And leave a
Cheers.
comment if you're from another country or you have experience from another country. I'd love to hear it.